Welcome to the Funeral Funds Life Insurance Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Vandervate from Funeral Funds of America, and you can find us at funeralfunds.com. That's funeral, Funds.com. Whether you're interested in term life, whole life, mortgage protection, annuities, disability, business continuation, or final expense life insurance, we have you covered. Our team of experienced professionals will guide you through the complexities of insurance products to help you make an informed decision. In this podcast, I'm going to be discussing the impact of COVID-19 on burial insurance for seniors. So, obviously, if you remember back in time when COVID-19 first came out, it had a massive impact on seniors. Oh my gosh. And one of the biggest problems most seniors have are underlying health conditions. And holy cow, diabetics and people with compromised immune system and compromised health in other areas, just absolutely devastated by COVID-19. And it had the insurance companies freaking out because how it works is they've got these people called actuarials. They're really smart number people. That's as simple as I can put it. They're really smart number people. And they assess how many people out of every 1,000 people are going to die of every specific human malady known to man, right? And COVID-19 was a worldwide pandemic. It was a game changer. And some of the companies really overreacted, and some of the companies just kind of they kept their boat pointed in the right direction and all the oars kind of rowing in the right direction. But there's some companies out there that even still to this day, they're asking, have you had any exposure or any diagnosis of COVID in the last 30 days? They've just stuck with it. And we know that COVID is going to be around for a long, long time. The early variations, of course, have kind of run their life cycle, but COVID is just a mutating beast, and it will continue to mutate and find new victims out there. But one of the biggest things, the biggest impacts COVID had on burial insurance for seniors was an increased awareness for the need of this coverage, because there's an awful lot that we can't control, right? We can control what the food we put in our bodies. We can control our exercise. We can control how much we see the doctors. We can control our medications. We can control so much. But man, when a worldwide pandemic comes out, we certainly can't control that. So it really helped reinforce to so many people the need for burial insurance, both in the mindset of those who survived, but unfortunately, there was a lot of people who died of COVID-19 who didn't have burial insurance, and their families are just devastated, not only emotionally, but financially, trying to figure this thing out and how to come up with money and putting in our credit cards at 26% interest, and all sorts of terrible things happen to families. So, yeah, just increased awareness, and just be aware too that, you know, COVID-19, it can come back. Or what about the next pandemic, right? So, another impact of COVID-19 on burial insurance for seniors was the medical underwriting. So I already mentioned that a little bit, that there's still some companies out there that ask about, any exposure to COVID-19. And there's some companies that even through the whole thing, they didn't change their process at all. And from everything that I hear, they all turned out all right. So I think it's just the level of risk that some insurance companies are willing to absorb. And, some just decided it wasn't worth the risk. Now, undoubtedly, when more people are dying per thousand than the actuarials had figured out, that throws a little bit of a monkey wrench into, the revenue models and the forecasts and everything for these insurance companies. And, I don't want you to think these insurance companies are just like, all money hungry. It's all about profits. They do want to pay out death claims. Think about it. What's the best advertising in the world for an insurance company? The best advertising in the world for an insurance company is when somebody dies and they pay the money and they just save a family or a spouse or a loved one just an incomprehensible amount of pain and emotional and financial suffering. So they want to pay. That's great advertising. But what some of the insurance companies did is they adjusted their premiums up, right? Because more they looked at some insurance companies accepted more risks on some of those health impairments, and some of those health impairments are the people had are the ones that predisposed them to COVID-19, and they died at higher rates. So some of the insurance companies raised the rates to make up for that loss, and just to kind of make sure that rates going forward were going to be appropriate for a higher death rate. Now, we all know COVID-19's backed off, but I'm just watching the news and they're talking about another surge potentially. I think, the news is always looking for dramatic stuff, and whether that's true or not, but we do know COVID's out there. We know it's going to be a long-term deal. Another way that COVID-19 impacted burial insurance for seniors is limited face-to-face interactions. So when I got started in the business, I was helping people in their homes and offices and stuff like that. And I had long before Funeral Funds of America, had long before everybody else was doing it, we converted to telesales, helping people all over the country. And when we did that, we got licensed in all 50 states, and now we help people in all 50 states over the phone. And what we're able to do is save people a lot of time and a lot of money because we're contracted with a whole bunch of different insurance companies. We're a broker. What that means is we can shop around for people. They don't have to do this on their own anymore. They don't have to rely on calling those silly TV commercials that advertise for $9.95 per unit that are going to whack you with a 2-year mandatory waiting period and premiums that are often 200% higher than our lowest price first day coverage plan, right? So you don't have to trust that marketing out there. Think about it. Those policies that you see advertised on TV and junk mail and stuff like that, they're typically very expensive. Well, why are they so expensive? Because advertising on TV and mail is really expensive, right? It adds layers of cost. And if we can find insurance companies that are great, solid insurance companies that have been around 80, 100, 150 years, that don't have to do all that advertising, that can let agents like myself contract with them and actually do the suitability and the underwriting and find out what's most appropriate and then help people with those plans. So that's just a better model for the insurance companies. And just be aware, most of this, generally the most heavily marketed products out there are the worst products. You know why? Because worse products need more marketing to get sold, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. Another impact that COVID-19 had on burial insurance for seniors is product innovation. So some of the companies out there have started adding additional riders on there that may include benefits for hospitalization or critical illness, or accelerated living death benefit, meaning that if you were diagnosed with the terminal illness and you had less than 12 months to live, you can get, with the right policy, you can get 100% of your policy out in advance. So let's say you had a $25,000 burial insurance policy and you passed away and the burial was only $12,500. Well, there's another $12,500 left over that can be used for any other expenses that can go to your loved ones. You know, if you got that money out 12 months in advance, you could pre-plan your funeral and have everything taken care of so your family didn't do it, and maybe use that extra 12,500 to take your family on a nice trip or something, kind of one last trip around the sun, I guess, right? Just to have those memories until your last day, but also just to provide those memories for your family for the rest of your life. And then the last thing I'll talk about the impact of COVID-19 on burial insurance for seniors is the increased online accessibility. Now, that's good and bad, right? If you're dealing with a reputable company like Funeral Funds of America, it's a good thing. There's a lot of new agents that come into this business. Oh my gosh, especially in final expense. It seems, I don't know, I think everybody tells everybody it's easy money, and it's not easy money. It's a lot of work. You have to care about people. You have to care about a certain demographic of our American society, which is our favorite people here at Funeral Funds, age 50 to 85. And some people just they don't have the mindset, they don't have the compassion, they don't have the empathy. And in some cases, people don't have the ethics or the integrity to do the right thing. So just be very careful when you're shopping around out there and giving your information out. And as a rule, in this day and age, you don't need somebody to come visit your house and sit at your kitchen table and pressure you into buying a product just so you can get them out of the house. Yeah. So, funeral funds, we're licensed in all 50 states. We can help you out. If we can't help you out, we'll certainly get you pointed in the right direction. So, there we go. That's the impact of COVID-19 on burial insurance for seniors, at least a few topics. My name is Randy Vandervate, and I hope this podcast has been helpful to you. Funeral Funds of America can help you qualify for first coverage or benefits at funeralfunds.com. That's funeral, FUNDS.com. And our phone number is 888-862-9456. We will be blessed to help you with this in the future. Until that day comes, stay safe, take care, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.